Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and we finally have the official multiplayer reveal for Modern Warfare 2. Call of Duty Next just wrapped up. They gave us a lot of information about the game, but as always, we're left with more questions than we have answers. But I will say, based on the trailer and based on the little bit of gameplay we've seen so far, the multiplayer does look pretty good. One of the biggest takeaways that I got from Call of Duty Next, I watched the entire presentation, is they said that the multiplayer maps, the 6v6 multiplayer maps in this game, are going to be more straightforward and more refined than what we had back during Modern Warfare 2019, which is something we've heard about previously. We heard people say that they were going to not have as much safe space map design and a lot of those problems that we had with Modern Warfare 2019. Well, apparently Modern Warfare 2 is not going to have those exact same issues, which is definitely some pretty good news. Here in this trailer, you're going to be seeing a bunch of different things here. You saw the guy pull out the pistol while his primary weapon was still there. You see things like the death machine running around, the Juggernaut suits, and there's lots of different little mechanics that are going to be part of this year's game. For example, third person is going to be in this year's game, which it's going to be like its own separate playlist, its own separate game modes. They're actually talking about having a third-person hardpoint mode within the beta, and then maybe bringing that to Search and Destroy more towards launch. We have a brand new game mode in the form of Prisoner Rescue, which is going to be round-based like Search and Destroy, where you have two different prisoners, and you have to grab one of them. I guess you just leave the other dude to die. I don't know. And then you have to get them to the exfil. There's going to be a revive mechanic, but typically new game modes don't end up doing all that well. But regardless, they're trying new things. There's going to be like something like 13 different field upgrades. Water mechanics are going to be a big part of this year's game, which I'm sure you guys have been seeing throughout the entirety of this trailer. They said that they wanted to have water in Modern Warfare 2019, but they ran out of time. Right, but with Modern Warfare 2, right from the start, they wanted to have water and aquatic combat be part of the game. So we saw lots of different instances of that throughout the trailer here. It's going to be a big part of the multiplayer maps. It's going to be a big part of Warzone. I will be doing another video later on today discussing all the stuff that we saw in Warzone. But yeah, water mechanics are going to be a thing. You can only use your pistol while underwater, not your primary weapon. There's going to be mounting. There's going to be sliding. There's a new ledge hanging mechanic, as well as a dolphin dive. They didn't really talk too much about the idea of slide canceling. They didn't really go too much into like the minutia, right? They didn't mention the word prestige mode, for crying out loud, which is what a lot of us want to hear, but they did mention that they've heard our feedback, and they say this every year, but they heard our feedback. They've learned so much from the previous games, so on and so forth. A lot of lip service, but we'll have to see how the actual gameplay is going to play out and how the progression is actually going to play out. They said there is unprecedented opportunity here for weapon customization, and I think the big thing is it's going to come down to how the game actually feels. You know what I mean? Because we can watch all these YouTubers play the game. We can watch all these live streamers play the game, which they're doing probably right now as this video is going live. But until we actually get to play it for ourselves, and until October 28th, when we see the actual full game, we're never going to know how truly good or bad this game is going to be. So I'm personally pretty excited about that. A couple of extra things they added is they've confirmed that Spec Ops will be returning as an extra game mode within the game. So we're going to have campaign, multiplayer, Spec Ops, Warzone, as well as DMZ. They did confirm DMZ, but that's much more of a Warzone topic. I'll be covering that in a different video. Ground War, of course, will be returning, but they're going to be doing something a little bit interesting with the multiplayer maps. So the 6v6 maps, like I mentioned, are going to be more straightforward and more refined compared to Modern Warfare 2019. That's not me repeating myself, that's me quoting what they said during Call of Duty Next. But then we're going to have something called battle maps, which I think is really interesting. So these battle maps are going to be like Ground War, but AI is going to be a big part of it. And apparently AI is going to be a big part of Modern Warfare's multiplayer in general. Now, they did stress that, you know, AI is not going to be in Search and Destroy, for example, or those more like tactical, like use your brain game modes. But in something like Ground War, something like on these battle maps, which are designed for 20v20 with like real people, you know, 20 humans versus 20 humans, but each team also has 20 AI on their side as well. So essentially it's 40v40 with half the people on each team being real and the other half being AI. And in there, you can just run around and just kind of like do whatever you want. It sounds like it's actually going to be pretty good for camo grinding. Of course, they went further into the idea of the Gunsmith, which we saw the trailer for that yesterday. The Gunsmith is going to be pretty insane this year. They've really revamped it. They're going to make it so the receivers can take one weapon system like the M4, and you can get like 5 total different weapons out of just that M4. There's going to be a lot to it. The Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer has a lot of things moving, like lots of moving parts here, and And again, we're gonna have to wait and see how it's gonna play out. It's a little bit sketchy with how much they're refining, how much they're changing. You know, back in the day, you had a game like the original Modern Warfare 2 that came out, and sure, it was fun. We all loved it. And then Black Ops 1 came out, and a couple tiny changes, right? They're like, oh man, they added a camera. There's an RC car. Wow. Like, you know, back then that was revolutionary compared to like what we have now going from a game like Vanguard into Modern Warfare 2. It's night and day. The amount of extra pieces of equipment where you can blow people up, that, you know, if someone's camping on the floor above you, you can throw this thing up on the ceiling and it's going to blow through the floor and kill the guy. Like, there's a lot to this game, man. And honestly, it's looking good. I know people probably expected me to be a little bit cynical, but you know, we'll save that for when I actually play the game. I start getting my ass kicked by people half my age. But, you know, based on what we've seen so far, based on the presentation, based on the information that is currently available to us, I feel as though Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer looks pretty solid. Will it actually be solid? We'll have to wait and see. I will reserve judgment. But as always, going into this year's game, and as I go into any Call of Duty game, I am going in cautiously optimistic. I want the game to be good. I feel like there's this... It's weird, right? Because people think that, like, people like me want the game to suck. Like, we just hate COD, but we make videos every day on it. It doesn't make any sense. If I'm playing the game all the time and talking about the game all the time and making videos on the game all the time, I want the game to be good. I want to enjoy what I'm doing, you know what I mean? And Modern Warfare 2, like we talked about previously, is we're going into unprecedented territory. We've never had a 2-year COD like this before. Typically, I've been playing and covering the franchise for like 15 years now. So typically, we can go back in time and we can use stuff that happened in the past, and we can use that as kind of like an indicator to sort of predict what's going to happen. We don't know, man. With Modern Warfare 2, we don't know. It's a 2-year game. The leaks and rumors are suggesting that we're going to be getting basically all of the original Modern Warfare 2 maps added during year 2, so they're gonna be bringing back things like High Rise and Terminal and Quarry and Wasteland and all that. That's the rumor, but like we don't know how that's gonna play out. And if the game is bad at launch and it turns people away, this is a huge gambling chip, because if the game sucks at launch, we're screwed. Like, it's a 2-year game, and if people move away from it, then that could be a really big blow to the COD franchise. But we do know that the game is going to be releasing on October 28th, and then Season 1 of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 will begin on November 16th, which will also be the time that Warzone 2 comes out. So mark your calendars. October 28th is the release of Modern Warfare 2. You can play the campaign up to 1 week early, depending on your pre-order. And then on November 16th, Warzone 2 is going to come out, and DMZ will be right there at the launch of Warzone on November 16th. DMZ will also be there. So campaign, multiplayer, Spec Ops, Warzone, and DMZ are all going to be there. It's a lot, man. It's definitely a lot. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all for this video here today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. Let me know what you thought of the reveal trailer down there in the comment section below. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.